I'm here with Luke DeVore, our newly appointed co-chair for the VRARA Aerospace Committee. Hi, Luke.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for your time today. So, Luke, you have a whole long history of being involved in the aerospace industry, VR, AR, but and Marine Corps. I mean, you're like the perfect candidate for being a co-chair. But how did you get into VR, AR, first of all?
So as a Marine officer, I was involved in training, and really it was completely unplanned, but I got involved in simulation-based training, using a lot of just 2D commercial games as a simulation training platform for Marines. And while I'm not really a technologist, I'm really good at the training side, on the applied side of technology. And next thing I knew, I was doing that as a Marine officer and then as a civilian. And then I made a whole career out of it. So as the technology has progressed from 2D gaming on a computer screen, it has also then evolved to 3D gaming and real-time 3D, both on computer screens, but then of course also in headset.
Yeah, you mentioned simulation, and what comes to my mind is our Orlando chapter with all the defense and academia as well, aerospace industries. But I think 8 billion is right there just for the simulation technology market. So it's amazing what's happening there in Orlando. And as probably a lot of you heard, we're doing our global summit now in Miami, Florida, on the beach, Miami Beach. So we can discuss that later. But back to you, Luke. So you're part of SAIC. Can you tell us more about what your role is with
Yeah,
SAIC?
absolutely. So SAIC has been around for a while, and a very large company, 7 billion in revenue annually. And they're really known as a systems integrator and an IT company across the Department of Defense and the federal government. So what am I doing there, right? So SAIC has made these investments in emerging technologies across a wide range of fields. So machine learning and AI, cybersecurity, cloud deployment, edge computing. And one of those areas that they've made a significant investment in is immersive technologies, recognizing that so much, not just the way we train, but also the way we work is going to be affected by emerging immersive technologies going into the future. So I work on that team as the director of engagement, developing capabilities, developing competencies and IP, and then making that available across SAIC's business units so that we become more competitive and more prepared for future requirements moving forward.
Amazing stuff. And I think that's kind of the strongest vertical in VR or AR. So what is your outlook actually for the industry?
Whew. Well, it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of really good stuff and also some bad stuff going on simultaneously. So on the training side, I think it's gotten really crowded, and there's just so many players. I think on the training side, kind of like the Orlando community that you're referencing, I think that we might be looking at some consolidation over the next 12 to 18 months, which is probably a good thing. And that way we can have some real leading technologies and providers sort of emerge forward. And I think overall that's good for the industry because it'll be good for adoption at scale. And adoption at scale is kind of the thing that we need to see to propel the market forward. I'm also very excited to see everyone's been talking about the metaverse. And because SAIC does a lot of work with the federal government, I've also been talking about the Fediverse and what metaverse-like thinking might mean for the federal government, not just for training, but also for enterprise IT operations and logistics, and how all of these things might be better digitized, better integrated, and better managed, and absolutely leveraging some of the technologies that we talk about all the time that are normally associated with the metaverse.
Yeah,
so
you mentioned
it'll be
consolidation. So consolidation, I think, is always good for the market. It's a sign of maturing, and we have seen a lot of acquisitions lately. I mean, even talking about metaverse, Niantic acquired our member 8 Wall, and yeah, a lot of good stuff is happening. But metaverse is a popular term that I think people are just now, it's like a household name. As you know, we had our Metaverse 2.0 virtual event. The first one attracted 10,000 people, an audience. So that was amazing. And of course, metaverse will be a big topic as
Absolutely.
simulation at our summit in Miami Beach.
Right. One of the one of the really interesting things, one of the really interesting things that's going on that I've noticed in my part of the market, again, really focused on the federal government and defense, is how many conversations I'm having now with people in New York, San Francisco, and LA. So there really is this fantastic convergence occurring now between all the people in the defense and federal government field that have been doing simulations and working with immersive technologies for years, really doing some pretty advanced stuff. And then all those people in the commercial gaming and commercial entertainment. And we're really meeting in the middle right now, which is really exciting because on the defense side, they don't have the same going concern as private investors. So they've been able to make all sorts of innovations without necessarily needing a financial return. Simultaneously, all these interesting things are happening on the gaming and commercial side. And we're meeting in the middle. And, you know, like the event in Miami is occurring so close to our big event every year in the DoD, which is ITSIC, occurring the week after in Orlando. And wow, if we can get those worlds to collide, amazing things could happen, I think.
Yeah, it's. I think we picked a good week for our Immerse Global Summit in Miami Beach because the week before it's Art Basel, and the week after, as you mentioned, it's the big defense simulation
Yeah.
event. So people can come for 2 or 3 events and make the most out of it. And you know, Florida is very flexible, open to COVID regulations. So that's one of the other reasons why we picked Florida. Less risk, but yeah, it's going to be an amazing world-class event at the beautiful Fontainebleau right on the beach, so you can all bring your families.
I'm planning to make a whole family, or at least a vacation for my wife and I out of it. Come
There
for
you
Immerse
go.
the weekend, and then I'll go hit up ITSIC.
Yeah. So back to the committee, the Aerospace Committee that you're co-chairing. You know, I always enjoyed. I'm attending a lot of these committee online meets, and it's a great way to learn and network. But what is your kind of agenda or goal for the Aerospace Committee? Can you share with us?
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think I've honed my vision a little bit just over the last 30 days because of what's going on in Europe. So first, I've always been very focused on the applied side. So I would really love for the committee, especially over the next 12 months, to focus on technology for sure, but what problems it's actually solving. I think as words like metaverse are creating so much additional intrigue and investment, it's critically important that our community right now focuses on the problems we're solving and not just the fanciful ideas of what we could be doing. Because if we want to keep that investment and keep the interests, we're going to have to move from concept to code, from, you know, the art of the possible to the state of the art. So I really want to focus on the applied usages and the problems that are really being solved. And the war in Ukraine has really, from a aerospace perspective, is really making me wonder and question how effective the simulations and the immersive technologies that we're supporting and developing now will truly prepare U.S. service members for that, not for asymmetric warfare and not for the type of war that we've seen the United States engaged with over the last 20 years, but for, you know, near peer threat warfare that scale, the intensity, the violence, the awfulness that we're seeing in Ukraine. Are we hitting that mark as a professional community, creating solutions for warfighters? I think that's the new bar, and we have to answer or ask ourselves some honest questions about whether or not we're meeting that standard. And it's awful. It's incredible, really. It's you know, in my time in the Marine Corps and in combat, it's unlike anything I saw. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning that. I'm actually from Poland, so a lot of the refugees from Ukraine come to Poland. I hear some pretty amazing and horrible stuff from my family there. But yeah. But with that, that's a good use of technology, and that's what we're here for. So Luke, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to attending your Aerospace Committee meetings as well as seeing you in Miami Beach.
Great. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke.